listener, how are you? We hope you're well this week. Thanks for coming back. Because we'd be lonely without you, wouldn't we, guys?
We would. I'm so glad you turned up.
Yeah, I know,
I
right?
really am.
You, our one loyal listener. We adore you. Anyway, we are back. Sorry about that. It's last week wasn't punishment enough. We're back again. We've got another podcast. and so if you've never listened to this podcast before, well done. And if you have listened to this podcast before, you'll know that I am Ferguson.
I am Harrington.
I'm Hawks.
And I'm Kindler.
Yay! It's Damian Kindler. Huge applause there from our one listener out there in the world.
We have two listeners now because there's also a wolf behind me.
Yeah, what's the thing with a wolf? Are you trying to scare people? What's the deal?
I'm in my youngest son's bedroom, and because my boy is studying.
Your youngest son is a wolf?
He's a wolf. Yeah, I know. This was on his bed, and believe me, you do not want to see what is behind the wolf.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a mess. So, Chrissy, my wife, said, just don't, if you're going to do it in there, just make it look like presentable to some extent. So, I thought,
is there a dead caribou carcass behind that? Whatever that is.
Yes, several.
Have you actually, Damien? You're Canadian. Have you ever seen a wolf up front? Like, have you ever come face to face with a wolf?
No, because I don't think I'd be here. They're very shy. Listen, I can tell you a lot about wolves because I've just watched some Yellowstone, and so that makes me, a television expert. But they're very shy.
You are a television expert, though.
They're very shy, and apparently they are the spirit animal of very handsome, Filson-clad Hollywood actors.
So are you part wolf then, Damien?
I was going to say,
Did you see that? How smooth was that?
Yeah.
Are you part wolf? Because you're a guy who knows about scary Hollywood things. You are our TV expert. And because I noticed, you are, how many series though now have you written? Or created? Quite a lot, right?
It's sort of like rings on a tree. I would have to ask my urologist to pull up my last colonoscopy. We look through.
And look to
it
see
looks
how
like
many.
you've done a lot of science
Wow,
fiction.
you've been around.
Yeah,
He has been around.
yeah, because it looks like we've got elbow marks up there. Like, it's terrible. So
No, you're an interesting fellow. A very interesting fellow, Damian Kindler. Because, I met you through your lovely wife, right? Because I don't know if you know this, but Damian's wife, Jill Jabodi, she did my storytelling class, and then that's how I met Damian. She's a brilliant storyteller as well. And then I met Damian, and then you're like, oh, hello, proper TV writer, creator. And there's although you are part wolf, I think, because you're shy and retiring, but quite handsome as well. Wouldn't you say he's handsome, boys?
I'd say he's a little too handsome for my liking.
Yeah,
to
right.
be honest.
yeah, an industrial accident is in the offing. Well, you say that I'm part wolf, but I think that there's actually a terrible kind of tragic cuddliness that comes into play. If I'm at a party with lots of people that I know and have known me for a while, so I don't go to parties anymore. Is because I will be talking to someone. Usually, it's some very nice person or some innocent young female who's asking advice from me, which is a huge mistake. But I'm trying to prepare. The point is, I'm trying to appear professional and knowledgeable and wise, and And suddenly, I'll look at her and go, "What time is it?" And she'll go, I'll go, "Is it 12:30 in the morning?" And she'll go, "Yeah, I think it is." And I go, "Oh my God," because at 12:30 in the morning, one or many of the people I know have had just enough imbibery that they come up behind me and start going wooga 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 with my beard and blah blah blah, blah with my hair, and like I'm some sort of Paddington, and as though this is the way. It's just something like when the nice drunks see me, they're just like, "I gotta get some of that, the fluffy man," And so I don't think wolf really covers it. Is what I'm saying.
I don't know. Cuddly wolf. Cuddly baby wolf. There definitely is something about you, Kindler, where you go, wouldn't you want to knit that guy a sweater? Do you know what I mean? Like
Is that
from
code?
a woman's point
Is that
of view,
code for
sometimes-
something?
Is that a euphemism?
I'd like to knit that fellow.
No, from a woman's point of
night
view, sometimes you look at a man, you're like, oh, they look a bit scary, or they look like hard work, or oh, they look friendly, they look what. And the category I'd put Damien in was, sometimes I'd quite like to knit him a sweater just to see how cuddly he looked in it. Anyway, Chesney, do you want to get your structure out for now?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes, sure.
structure out, Chase.
I'll get my structure out. So that you know what you've let yourself in for here, Mr. Kindler. So every week we have we have a very special guest, which this week happens to be the cuddly wolf bear guy called Damian Kindler. And so we ask our guest to give us a quote that they'd lived their life by, or something that means something to them. And we talk about that for a little while. And then after a little while of talking, then Lynn will do a little bit of magic, which we'll get to later on.
Ooh.
And no rabbits, no
Sweater
hats.
conjuring.
And then after a little while, I will perform a song that means something to you emotionally, and I'll do that for you, and then we will talk about that, and that's pretty much it. That is the structure of our podcast, and that's what you've let yourself in for.
You haven't mentioned Neil.
No, I know. I thought I'd let Neil talk and tell Damien what his involvement
Because
is.
there's nothing to talk about. There's nothing to mention.
He's kind of the
Damien,
Carl
I'm gonna-
Pilkington of the whole thing.
Yeah, there you go. Spot on. Absolutely. No, he's got more talent than I have.
That's brilliant.
So we'll start you off, Damien. We'll start off with your fabulous quote, which I love this because I felt like an uneducated Neanderthal human being. I'd never thought about this before. It's wonderful. So Damien's quote, being right is the booby prize. And I've had a little dig to just to tee you up, just to set you off, Damien, before we get into how that came about and why you like to think of that saying like that. So, do you want to be right or happy? Can one be both? If you're happy to live in your head, focusing on yourself, and if growth, relationships or humility aren't priorities, then maybe. If you want to develop good relationships with others consistently, it's never helpful to create a dialogue that makes them wrong. Nobody wants to be wrong. When we're fixed on being right, we invariably force deeper divides, separation, and active fault-finding mindset of others too. So that's a loose outline, but obviously this is probably something in life. Some good
Where'd you find that, Neil?
stories coming down. It was I'll send it
Internet?
to you. It was,
From the interwebs. Yeah, good.
yeah. But over to you as to how you decided that saying was what it was, because it's very powerful. I have to say, it's very powerful.
It is. Now, may I offer a caveat-ish apology in advance? I'm terrible at talking about myself in any kind of coherent fashion.
That's because you need a sweater, Damien. That's what it is. You need someone to knit you a sweater.
Just
And then
something
you
to-
would
like
be able to...
At least a scarf and
You know those thunder jackets that the dogs wear?
Yeah.
I should have one, like a
right.
thunder sweater. Yeah. Well, so, that quote came my way from a few different directions over the past couple of years. And I would say that since the beginning of COVID, as everybody on Earth has been dealing with, there's just been a great unraveling. There's been a great reckoning and almost a watershed for people, whether they were going to lean into all the, the issues that they've been running away from, or whether they were going to keep running and double down. And I don't judge either way, actually, because, depending on what you're going through, it's not like one is necessarily the healthiest choice. But for me, I was trapped with my wife who of Scottish descent, so there was no hope.
You were so lucky in that.
No, I was.
You lucky bugger.
I would say that what I feel incredibly lucky is that I'm grateful for is that I tend to do this where I ask the universe for something that I know that I really, really need, but terrifies me. But if I can embrace it, I will come out the other end a more evolved person.
Yeah.
And I had asked the universe for all sorts of things to, mental health and physical health and better relationships with people, better professional relationships, because I wanted to continue to evolve as a writer. I had this kind of bittersweet, almost like hate relationship with myself as a writer, where it was like this, like saying, I'm a jewel thief, male prostitute, and also sometimes I write. It was, and so I had to embrace that. But where that quote came from is a mentor of mine who has changed my life for the better and does every day is a man named Chick Egley. He's Charles Egley. He's a Emmy Award-winning writer, and I met him because his daughter Eli, who's now I think an executive at HBO, but back in the day was my assistant when I was setting up this show called Krypton, and it was going horribly, and all sorts of knives were out, and me being the sweet Canadian, I was just constantly getting stabbed in the cafeteria line. People would pull their Teslas over and just have at him. He won't do anything. So Eli, who's a very, very strong-willed, brilliant, and fiercely loyal woman, said, "You need to talk to my father. He's been through this. He's been through, he's done all sorts of stuff, and you need to talk to him." So I finally reached out to him and met him at a car wash in the Palisades. And Chick is he's this guy who's kind of wears hip hop. He'll wear a fuck Trump hat sideways and a not my president thing, and like really expensive Air Jordans, and kind of like he looks like a hip hop producer, but he's a guy from Connecticut who went to Yale, and but he's the most erudite and evolved guy, and so he had been working with the therapist Phil Stutz, who I don't know if you guys know who Phil Stutz is.
I've seen the Netflix movie with Jonah Hill.
So Phil and Chick have known each other for I think 25 odd years, and the point being, a few projects later, Chick asked me to join him in making the show American Gods, which I leapt at. My agent's like, "Don't do it, it's a shitstorm and the money's crap," and I'm like, "I want to work with this man. He will make me a better human and a better writer." So I started to work with him, and it was just the most wonderful experience, because he's like something out of Zen and the art of motorcycle maintenance. Everything is just like, take time. The universe you do not have to rush, when you are trying to do something well. And he writes in longhand, he burns through Blackwing pencils, and it's just so I was very inspired working with him, and he was so generous to me. He was always praising me, and he never hands out false praise. And what he taught was that so much of our job is to manage other people's fears and to manage our own fears, and the way to do that is to work. Just like an alcoholic will have to work for the rest of their lives to remain sober, we have to work on removing ego from everything we do. Mm-hmm. And so that's where he I think the first time I heard him use it in the writer's room, we got the first set of notes on some scripts from, I can't remember, it was the studio, probably the studio before the network. And I went, but we did it. Like, they're asking for us to fix something that's already, this has happened to every writer. It's like, it's on page 3. They just didn't read it. And, and you're ranting and raving, having a tantrum. And he would look at me over his very beautiful tortoiseshell glasses, and he'd be like, but being right is the Booby Prize. Now what? Yeah, and I can remember kind of just staring out at the tree outside the writer's room for about 5 minutes, going, like, oh shit, you know. And I had since foisted this on other very close friends of mine. Friend of mine who's a showrunner on those Real Housewives shows, so he's really had to manage egos, and he was and he literally was holding a tequila, kind of sitting with the one hand on my kitchen counter and talking about it. And I said, but you know, being right's the Booby Prize, and he just froze and stared at the floor, and then literally like Martin Sheen when he's talking to Marlon Brando in The Hut, he's just like, being right is the Booby Prize. And so it just became this way, a motto for getting your ego out of the way, for sort of checking your own pulse of how, are you more interested in being right, or are you more interested in the flow of what's happening, the project you're working on, the collectivity of it all? Because if we're talking about me and we're talking about what I want, then we're fucked. If we're talking about the project, we're talking about the story, we're talking about others and engaging, then we're, I think, on the right path. And the other part of the being right, being the Booby Prize, is that it removes any form of transactional relationship aspect, which is that you do not help others expecting something back, because that falls into that. Look, you know, you owe me this because I did that. See how right I am? Like, it's the same ego-driven thing. And you know, Lynn, you'll know this in you know, to the many multitudes, which is that when you help people with stories, it honestly doesn't matter if you give someone the perfect idea that they go on and make $1 billion with on some show, because you have helped that person. And the universe and karma, it always comes around. Ideas come around and goodwill comes around, and you do not have to go, where's my change? You have to say, that's what we're here for, end of sentence. And that, I think, gives us huge amounts of peace when we're not wondering if we're right or we're wrong, and, you know, what's in it for me, and am I going to get fucked, and, you know, all that stuff. Yeah. So I think that, in a short answer, that saying tends to keep me honest.
I think as well, it's funny because I said to someone yesterday who's desperate for this project to go well, and I said, you know, perfection doesn't really exist as a good thing. And they were like, what do you mean? I said, if you want something to be perfect, then you're really just wanting it to be intimidating. You want to intimidate whoever it is that you're showing it to, and that's why you need it to be perfect, because
perfection is the enemy of
the Renaissance.
Yeah, perfection is the enemy of good.
Yeah, it's the enemy of new. Like in the Renaissance, they used to willfully make mistakes in buildings and everything because they believed that perfection was an insult to the eye of God, right? That God was the only person, or the only person. How bloody Christian upbringing is that? God is the only person. He's a man. He's got a white beard. God
and sandals.
Is the only entity that is entitled to perfection. For the rest of us, we connect through our imperfections, not through our perfection.
I agree with that, though. I mean, not necessarily in a religious bit, and I would say in a spiritual thing, which is that you've got to have some egotistical balls to say that you need to be perfect. That is that, in a way, you could say is the Lord's work. Like you know, that is for the divine, whatever you choose to call it. The humanity and the flaws and all that is what binds us. It's what connects us. And you're really, in obsessing over perfection, you are denying those beautiful accidents that create art.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're really, really giving that no shrift, you know?
No, sometimes the mistakes are where it all comes from. That's where
the magic comes when you're out of control. Where the magic comes in those little mistakes. Absolutely, yeah.
The state of flow allows for... It takes away the how can I put it, the model of good, bad, perfect. You know, it just, the state of flow is, it is what it is. It's happening. You are honoring it. You're getting out of the way so it can happen. You're just a kind of a conduit for it. And I think, you know, that's you can't just sort of go, I figured it out. Now forevermore, I shall be the Dalai Lama with a typewriter. You have to, you really are, you have to, the hard part is you're going to do this work for the rest of your life. if you want to stay in the moment. And
nobody's perfect, and nobody is. I always flinch when people say, "Yes, but I'm a perfectionist."
You want
Okay,
to
good luck
with
poor
that.
fucker.
I don't want to work with you anymore.
I'm a perfectionist. What they mean is, I want to piss other people off.
Yeah.
Because secretly, I'm quite annoyed about shit.
Because I'm always right.
Right, and that's as my son said yesterday, where I said that nobody needs to be perfect, and he said, you can't say that, and I said, why? And he said, because that disputes the whole theory of capitalism. And I was like,
What?
shut up and go to your room.
You're goddamn right it does.
Who talks like that? Evidently he does. But
And that, yes.
That's so good.
that disputes the whole theory of capitalism. God damn you.
I also think that in our world, that perfection equals something being box tick and finished. And how the hell do you define something as finished in our creative worlds when you're making a film or a piece of audio?
Well, you have to
or
at some point
music
say
or
that's it, though, don't you?
Yeah, well, you do.
Well, someone
but
has
it
to pull the
doesn't
thing
mean
out of your hands, you know.
Yes, exactly. That's what.
But
Exactly.
that's exactly the point. What to a creative person is finished, and
Yeah.
what defines that in the stage, and who
I have to
defines
step back whenever I'm doing a project like that, and there's always, there's too much reverb on that snare, or the guitar could do with a little less high EQ, or all those stupid things that we obsess over. I have to step back and just say, okay, I'm done.
I think, but
It's
I
done.
think that's the
Here
right
it is.
thing.
And then let it go.
That's the right thing.
Yeah,
That's getting out of the way.
yeah,
also
exactly.
like
It's getting out your own way.
Writing, where you have to stop before you go into the next cycle. Because writing really is about being in the state of flow if you're doing like creative writing. So that if you write something, you write from an initial idea where you're like, oh, I like this idea, that's going to be awesome. And then you get to a point where that idea is kind of finished.
Yeah.
But you've already started the next idea. And if you don't let it go at the end of that first segment, then that's when it screws up. Wouldn't you say, Damian?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. I think about projects like, writing, whether it's collaborative or alone, it's like having children. There's all sorts of exciting moments, and then there's these really boring, exhausting moments, but you can't just sort of trade them in, at the hospital. I'd like
even though you like to, when they say that refutes the whole point of capitalism.
I've tried. I have tried. I've tried. And they will try to do this with me at the old age home. Like, can we swap this old fucker out for someone with a better sense of humor? And
Someone that doesn't wear a diaper.
Yeah, but you have to kind of build the relationship with your work so that you are its advocate and not you're helping shepherd it the way there's guidance counselors and teachers and coaches and stuff, but you are the expert on your children, and I think intuitively we are the experts on our work. As long as it's not about us, it's about the work that we're carrying.
But with what you do, and I think it's different from songwriting. What I do is that when you've written a script and then you get it on set and then you've got it in front of with actors, and actors are interpreting what you mean and everything else, things probably change, right? They're in the moment, so you have to kind of you probably have to give up quite a lot of what you've written, or think of it in a different way, because it probably feels different coming out of that actor's mouth. Is that true?
That's very true. It's a really good point. But I would say that there's a very deep similarity, which is when you're performing, you're teaching your song to a band, you're going to play it live, or you're going to record you're adding string section. Things have to kind of evolve. I've been lucky enough to direct, and I would never say I'm a director, but I would say that I'm a producer who can direct. So
right, they let you at it, huh?
Well, it's very humbling, because what you realize is that you really better fucking hope that it changes. Because if it stays in the same that you had inside your little cabin, it's really going to be like everyone else will be like, and you'll be like, it's amazing, aren't I great? It's because it's just like so you have
want
to
it
kind
to
of
come to life.
Oh yeah, and you can feel the kind of lava, bile, when some snotty, beautiful, really well-paid actor comes in and goes, hey, listen, man, so I'm thinking you don't need all this shit. I think it's just about me, and I think it's about the thing, and we just, play it with like me saying this. And you can just feel this kind of, Herbert Lom twitchy kind of, and you have to kind of breathe, because 9 times out of 10, if not every time, even if the guy puts it like an idiot, he's probably right, that he's seeing it from some other perspective you can't, and you have to honor that.
Yeah, and he's portraying that character and embodying that character, and
he's doing it.
If he's going to do it, then I get it. Yeah. Yeah,
you can't enforce a bass line on a bassist if he's like, but I'm feeling it this way. You go, no, play it like that. Okay, Aaron Sorkin, you don't need to make me. So, but I realized that in trusting people with that, it's always better. And what's great is if you really want to be a saucy shit, later you can go, well, of course, that's my process. Is once we get to the stage, everything changes. It's not, but it is trust, about trust.
Did you enjoy the directing process, or is it something that you're going to carry on doing? Or
I loved it. I really loved it, because I started doing it because when I was show running, I would be bossing around these poor directors and saying, "Well, just shoot it. Come on, we wrote this whole scene in the airport. Just shoot it." And
get a new perspective.
Yeah, so I felt in order to not come off like a complete moron, I should start to direct. And the first time I directed was fucking terrifying.
I bet.
But then I think the second or third time I did it was a musical episode, which I had written all these songs with our composer, and it was amazing. It was like the best thing. We had playback. It was like shooting a kind of almost a musical, like a Chicago type thing. And I really felt everybody the crew trusted me. I trusted them. The cast and I had known each other for years. So it was like, it's easy to direct when you're in your home base with your home crew and your home. If you're traveling around, what's the house band?
Yes,
it's just not the same.
Yeah, I know that.
I want to ask about the style of writing that you do, or you're primarily known for. Because you're interesting, because you're sort of a polymath. You do lots of things, right? But I guess people would know you for Sanctuary, for Stargate, for primarily sci-fi stuff. But it sort of is like reflecting the human condition, but within, fantastical creatures or whatever. Where does that come from? Is it through working? Because when we were talking earlier on, you were talking about being right is the Booby prize. I was like, because it sounded, and you're talking about the therapist and that. I'm like, wrestling with monsters. That's why I hear the wrestling with monsters.
Oh yeah.
Does writing help you wrestle with your monsters?
Yes, that is the part of the gratitude, which is that any kind of creative endeavor that you get to do, if you do it well and you're open to it, is incredibly therapeutic, whether you like it or not. You don't have a choice if you're going to open yourself up.
But do you make your monsters from things that you are struggling with? See, you're trying to be private, but it ain't going to work.
Yeah, we're going to keep digging in your underwear.
Oh yeah. Well, well, first of all, in this, it is a little aggravating because people do. I've been to many interviews and general meetings, and I was at one last week where the guy said, you're really accomplished. You got a lot of experience. You've done this for almost 30 years. But it seems like you really just do the science fiction stuff. So, how do you translate that into writing drama? And I'm always like, there's just no difference.
Yeah, it's still drama.
It's still the human condition, and you have to care about the characters. And also, the big litmus test for any genre is that you should be able to strip away the high concept gag, the time travel, the wizards, the dragons, and the story of the people and what they're going through should be able to stand on its own in a drama.
Yes.
It should
Totally.
be.
Yeah.
And so,
You know what you say to people like that, Damian? You say nouns. How do you change sci-fi into period drama, nouns. Instead of some big scary monster, right?
Yeah.
Eating, blah, 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 you go, well, there's Catherine the Great, and she's having sex with her horse, right? Like, you can totally... I don't know why that came into my head.
I don't believe Catherine the Great had sex with her
I think you
horse.
do, Lynn. I think you do.
Thanks for the edit.
The thing is
Thanks for the
nouns.
edit,
It's
yeah.
Let's talk about that.
all story is structure. It's structure, and it's like the sound of orchestration, and it's fascinating
Well,
when
you
people do say that thing of how do you make it into that. You're like, well, no.
Well, it has to pass that. That's kind of the big litmus test. Like, for instance, so I've just finished writing this pilot, which is set in a very fantastical world where there's, monsters and other forms of life, intelligent life on Earth, and it's all very kind of mixed into the world, and there's other realms we haven't been to, and crazy shit, very Men in Black, but what has to happen for that story to make sense is it's really about a woman who has suffered such severe trauma that she has buried the memories of that trauma and is running from it, but is so aware that that trauma has to be unpacked that she can't actually end her life like she wants to. Every time she tries to kill herself, she realizes that there's a mystery in there that just is preventing her. And so it's really about a woman who's been running from her painful past and how the bill has come due because someone has died and left her something which is going to force her to reckon with this past. And it need not have one winged bat in it. It can just be about this woman hiding and someone leaving her a house. It could be anything. So within the human condition, it has to be standing on very, very firm foundations. And then you can build in the world building filigree.
Around it,
but if it doesn't have a beating heart, no one's going to give a shit about it.
Yeah.
Totally.
It makes utter sense. It really does. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Do you know what comes into my head though with it, right? Because I think that all genres can swap, right, by the changing of nouns, right? You change the nouns and the settings. If the key to it is right, apart from bad horror, because when those teenagers go camping at the lake, you're like, nobody does that. Like nobody goes camping at the lake in Halloween. Nobody does that.
I mean, I can give you a beautiful example. One of my favorites is I really loved the movie Gravity. One of the better two-handers I can think of. But all the incredible craft of how they made that and everything aside, it's about a woman who is grieving the loss of a child and has died inside, going through an experience from which she can then be reborn. And the imagery, if you watch it with the sound off, is perfect. She's dead inside, unable to connect, even with this very handsome, charismatic George Clooney astronaut. And she just cannot connect with people because she's keeping the world at bay because of her pain. She survives this unbelievable space accident and makes it to this Chinese space station where she just is so fucked up. She takes off all her stuff and her air hoses around her, and you see her floating in the fetal position like a baby, just trying to rest after this. And then when she goes down to Earth and splashes down, she crawls out of this ocean onto this mud, this almost primordial mud, and she gets up and the camera's looking right up like she's a giant, and she's reborn out of the mud. And it just, to me, that's what the movie's about. All the other stuff, with the space stuff, it's just there to enhance.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah, whereas for me,
simplicity.
Damien,
It's the
you
soul.
know where I'm at George Clooney as the handsome astronaut. If I was buying that project, I'd be like, oh, you got George Clooney as a handsome astronaut? That's where I'm at.
Astronaut Ferguson, did you destroy that spaceship so we could be together?
I also relate it to like a good song. A good song can be stripped down to just an acoustic, and a good song could also be, with a swing band, an 80-piece orchestra or something. As long as you have that song, the soul of the song, that's the important part.
Yeah, exactly. It's a top line melody with an idea that. I mean, I was talking about this with Jill because we have all this vinyl. I pulled out Lionel Richie, And you know, we're kind of looking at all this stuff. You know, he's wearing all these great pastel clothes and this shiny hair, but honestly, when you put on All Night Long, you're in it. But then you put on Hello, and it's just like the most simple, elegant, minimalistic notes. And my wife began to sing every lyric, which made me run from the house going, who is this?
Is it me you're looking for?
Is there something in your eyes? She went on and on and on. Yeah.
You sing hello every time that you pull, because I thought you were going to say that anyway. I pulled out a Lionel Richie album and I went, hello. I've got to do my magic now because Chesney, despite the fact that he looks adorable, is a time Nazi, aren't you? You're like, get the timing right.
Come on, Ferguson, get on with it,
I know,
woman.
Yes. Right. So I've done reading on you before, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I do a little thing where yes, you don't do that innocent knit me a sweater look, right?
He looks a little scared.
What is it they call it in the Banshees of Innocent? The town gob, or the
town gob. I love that. I watched that last night.
The village gob. Yeah, me too. It's funny.
Oh, you watched it last night? How fun.
I did.
Synchronicity, right. So I'm going to ask you to tell me a story for 2 minutes. Well, you're just going to tell me about this subject for 2 minutes, right? Just speak honestly. You don't have to make anything up. Just speak from your perspective. 2 minutes, see? Mm-hmm. And then I'll tell you what I hear, okay?
Now, what's the topic?
Well, I'm just about to get to that. I would say...
Patience, young man.
But you know what? The thing is I can't focus because I'm still here going, George Clooney is a handsome look, you know. You know the only thing that would be better than that? Lenny Kravitz is a handsome astronaut. Yeah.
His hair would get in the way. You wouldn't be able to put the helmet on.
He wouldn't need a helmet on. He's so cool, he doesn't need a helmet.
Yeah, that's true. He doesn't need a helmet.
Anyway.
I would work for free to work with Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah, me too. He's amazing.
So the topic is diamonds. You're going to tell me about diamonds. Are you ready, Damian? And go!
I've been married to my wonderful partner and wife, Jill, for coming up on, I want to say 27 years this summer. And we've been together 34? 30, yeah, something like that. So anyway, at some point we reached an anniversary where I think it was the diamond, and I forget which one is the diamond anniversary because, you know, the years blur when you're with someone so wonderful. But I had this idea because Jill and I had the first trip Jill and I took when we were just still college students at university. We went canoeing. So I thought, you know, for our, whatever it was, 15th or, anniversary, that I would buy her a canoe. And so I went to her. She's one of 4 sisters, and I'm going to get her this beautiful cedar strip canoe. It's going to be an art piece, but we could also use it together. It's a symbol of our love, floating on the, And I went to her sister Sarah, her next youngest sister, and she literally, in my memory, she grabbed me by the lapels and said, "Diamond earrings, you fucking moron."
Fucking canoe.
No, fuck the canoe. And I was like, it was a cold water. I'm like, diamond earrings, of course. I mean, the bottom of the canoe will be made of what should I do? So yeah, I ended up scrubbing the canoe. So whenever I think of diamonds, I think of a canoe being the opposite of diamonds. If that makes any sense. How much time do I have left? Because I could talk about other shitty gifts.
You have 27 seconds left.
Oh, okay. So we still have those diamond earrings, and I'm very proud of them. We still haven't a canoe. But anniversaries are coming up, so who knows what could happen. Diamond crusted canoe. Yeah.
She's a lucky woman.
It's Valentine's Day next week.
Is she a lucky woman?
Well done.
Happy Valentine's, darling.
Yeah.
Because we're up Schitt's Creek, love.
Yeah, right. So.
We might need.
Yeah.
It's so totally.
Where's the fucking paddle, you idiot? Oh,
It so totally doesn't surprise me at all, Kindler, that would be your story, right? which, because it really doesn't. I'm like, of course it would be. Diamonds is value. What you value, what you care about, which is obviously your Mrs. Jill, right? You care about Jill. And sometimes you're completely shit at showing how much you care about Jill, because the way that your mind floats off into what is beautiful is not the way that, well, you're off. It's not really a surprise that you go to sci-fi in a way, because in some ways, Damien, it must feel like you live in a sci-fi thing where you're like, what's wrong with a canoe? A canoe would be, because you said a canoe floating on the water, a symbol of our love. Yeah, it's adorable, and it is completely the value of beauty and whatever. But the world looks back. But the thing that you value is Jill. Jill is what you value, and the difficulty is not Jill. The difficulty is how to translate your sense of what is adorable to the person that you value the most. You know what is, that's a great example of, actually, is when you talked about the guy who said, can you translate sci-fi into drama? How could you do it? You just go nouns, right? Like, nouns totally does it, because you go, I thought I'm going to find her this beautiful canoe as a symbol of our love. You go, all right, sci-fi, right? Or certainly out there. And then if you go, I'm going to find her the most perfect diamond, a symbol of our love. People go, oh, look at you, adorable romantic hero. You probably have a horse, right?
You look like George Clooney.
Yeah, I look, no, well, that's it. Or
Lenny Kravitz.
Lenny, no, yeah. Do you know what? Did you? I saw. Sorry about this, listener. I have to say it. Have you seen Shotgun Wedding? Have you seen the movie Shotgun Wedding?
No.
No, don't. Well, do with the sound off. Well, it's funny. Actually, it is a funny film. Jennifer Coolidge
Fast
is
forward to the
amazing in
Lenny
it, and she's
Kravitz
Jennifer
ones.
Coolidge. But Lenny Kravitz doing comedy. Hello.
Is he good?
Oh,
Well, yeah,
The man can do anything.
he
can do
really
anything.
can. He really.
He was in an
can.
episode of Better Things that
Oh, was it?
was amazing. He was He played a director directing Pamela Adlin's character, and she brings him home for dinner, and her older British mother is just shockingly inappropriate, and it all reminded me of how my mother can be sometimes. If she luckily, she'll never figure out how to use a podcast, so this will stay with me. But I was
Safe. You're safe.
But I was also like, that guy really looks like Lenny Kravitz, but boy, is he an amazing actor. And then it was Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah, he's so good.
He can do comedy. He totally can do comedy. Anyway, sorry for the digression there.
Do you know what I loved about that? Because obviously we do this podcast regularly, and we have the guests, and Lynn gives them their 2 minutes, and everybody reacts in different ways. And of course, you know, Lynn, and you've done this before. I get that. But a lot of people don't quite know what to do and go off on random angles. But I love that the writer just started telling a story.
Yeah, and it had like an amazing end as well.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
We still don't have a canoe. It's like, oh.
Yeah, it wasn't random thoughts or whatever. It was like this story,
Writer
and I've got a meaningful point at the end. I've still not got a fucking canoe.
Yeah, exactly. It's what's the Monty Python joke with the Australians saying that American beer is like making love in a canoe. It's just fucking close to water. And, I think that first of all, thank you, Neil. I appreciate that, because that is actually being light on your feet is such a skill that we all need, and it's born of hundreds and hundreds of just general meetings. You're just saying hi, and you walk in, and they go, "All right, kid, what do you got? What's your pitch for it?" And you just go, "But I was told by my representatives that this was not." You have to be ready. You're always ready with with a pouch full of hash to sling at.
That sounds like a good day or a meeting or whatever. I'm in.
Sweeties.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can turn awkward.
George Clooney is a handsome astronaut, and you've got it there. That's all you would need in a day.
George Clooney is a handsome whatever noun you want to just put in.
Yeah, chicken.
Yeah, handsome chicken chicken salesman.
Yeah.
But Lynn, you must have encountered that too, where you just kind of realize that something's gone terribly awry and you must reach into your bag of charm.
Oh, geez. There was the thing that comes to mind for me is, and we did this podcast live in Edinburgh last year, but before the podcast, we went for I was asked to judge a competition called So You Think You're Funny, and the boys came to see it, which is it's people who do stand-up, right? And or new stand-ups, and when I started, well, when I still lived in Scotland or in London, I used to compare the heats of it. I used to be the compare host, the heats of So You Think You're Funny, and there was one heat where everybody was so bad that nobody won the competition, right? The judges refused to let any of them through. And it was the most incredible journey, right? Because when your job as a host is basically what you're doing is you're saying to the audience, it's going to be fine. Do you know what? I'm so glad you're here and I'm here and tonight is the night, right? And so the audience were like, woo! And then the first one came on and they were like, wait a minute. Right, and then you go, but it's a competition. And by the time it was like the 7th person who had like died, and
Scottish cricket.
It totally had gone from like any kind. It was the most brilliant learning experience because I would go in between them and just go, okay.
Yeah.
So.
Fuck me, there's another one in the wings.
You literally could see people going, oh no, right?
Another one.
No more. It was a level of...
You could have done, the Monty Python thing where they had the seaside Proust competition and they had all these different guys trying to... Anyway, and so... Michael Palin in his, I think it was a Manchester accent, was like, nobody here has really encapsulated the genius of Proust, so we're going to give the prize to the girl with the biggest tits, and then the whole crowd just
hey.
Well, it was a very interesting show because at the end of the show it felt like we'd all been through something.
You'd all been through a journey together.
And at the end of the show, like normally at the end of the show you'd go, thanks for being here and a blah blah blah. And at this one, I ended by going, sincerely, thanks. And they were like, it's okay, Lynn.
It's sort of like
we meet at a bar.
Yeah. Hug your loved one. It's like hug your loved ones closer tonight, people. Stay connected.
Let's get musical. So
I can't wait.
Okay, so you gave us a few songs. I actually read the email that you sent to Lynn. It was like a stream of consciousness to me, and
that's what it was.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. And
again, the writer, right? Again, the writer.
Yeah.
The thoughts.
You're just lucky you never got a canoe, right? Could I get a canoe?
Yeah.
But one of the songs you chose, and it was one of the first songs you chose, was "Maybe I'm Amazed," and Paul McCartney. And I'm a huge Beatles fan, and obviously, who isn't a fan of McCartney? Just the greatest ever. And I thought, well, I'll choose that because obviously that will be the easiest for me. Well, it wasn't. What was I thinking? And I chose to do it in the same key as McCartney. And McCartney's got this incredibly, perfect kind of scream and high register that no one in the world could ever do. And it was just... But I stuck it through at the same key. I almost thought about like, okay, should I lower it? I'm like, no! If McCartney can do it, I'm going to do it. So I stuck it through in the same key.
Wow, amazing. Because I don't know how you do that.
Maybe I'm amazing. Or maybe not. You haven't heard it yet. You haven't heard it yet.
Exactly. So it could be Lynn going, Lynn going, thank you all for coming.
Hug your loved ones.
Yeah, hug your loved ones. Yes.
Why this song then, Damien? What's the connection with Paul McCartney's "Maybe I'm Amazed"? Then
there's something about that song that is very aspirational. It's about that kind of amazing connection between people you love, But if you really listen to the lyrics, and look, I know you've had to screen them, but there's some very dark, tragic. Maybe I'm a man who's in the middle of something, and maybe he doesn't really understand that. I realize it's very about the kind of midlife existential crisis that we feel. Yeah. That I went, ooh, this isn't just a kind of yesterday. It has it has a kind of teeth to it, rock and roll teeth, and so it kind of has a cool spectrum of emotion from just kind of. It has a great guitar solo. I love how one whole verse is just yeah, and it just kind of has it all in a cool way in terms of just what it's about, the lyrics, the arrangement. You can tell there are some songs you never get bored of hearing. Mm. I still wait to get bored of certain Fleetwood Mac songs. I'm not.
No, agreed.
And I think McCartney's Maybe I'm Amazed is right up there. Just like every time it's on, you're not like, oh, here we go. It's like, wow.
Yeah. So. And seeing him do it live is, I always go into the YouTube and have a look at some other versions and everything, just watching him do it live, and it's like, motherfucker. Yeah. He's so good. He's so good.
I don't think it's one bead of perspiration on
nothing.
Him. Like,
he just hits those notes and just he's just amazing. Well,
toodaloo, hour 3,
Chesney has done you proud tonight.
Have I?
Because I've had a preview of this, but like he said, he's stuck in the key. And I was like, man, really? And wow. Honestly.
Don't build it up, Neil, just play it.
No, it's brilliant. So here you go, Damian Kindler. Just for you, here is Paul McCartney's Maybe I'm Amazed by Chesney Hawkes.
Oh, wow.
Maybe I'm amazed at the way you love me all the time. Maybe I'm afraid of the way I love you. Maybe I'm amazed at the way you pull me out of time. You hung me on the line. Maybe I'm amazed at the way I really need you. Maybe I'm a man, maybe I'm a lonely man who's in the middle of something that he doesn't really understand. Maybe I'm a man, maybe you're the only woman who could ever help me. Maybe won't you help me understand? Maybe I'm a man, maybe I'm a lonely man who's in the middle of something that he doesn't really understand. Maybe I'm a man, and maybe you're the only woman that could ever help me. Baby, won't you help me understand? Ooh. Maybe I'm amazed at the way you're with me all the time. Maybe I'm afraid of the way I leave you. Maybe I'm amazed at the way you help me sing my song, right me when I'm wrong. Maybe I'm amazed at the way I really need you. Oh, 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 yeah. Oh, oh, ooh, 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 yeah. Ooh, 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 yeah.
Just for you, Damian Kindler. There's Chesney Hawkes before.
Holy
McCartney's Maybe I'm Amazed.
Fucking amazing. Chesney,
Wasn't it?
You fucking crushed that.
Didn't he? Right?
I mean,
Yeah.
fuck. Do I
And
get
giving
to
it large
have
on
a
the
copy
piano
of
at the
it?
same time as well, right?
I'm
You know,
just,
giving it all
I
the
mean,
work.
I mean, I'm listening to. I'm actually. You're on a piano right now. Like there's a piano
yeah.
So you're on my piano, and I'm sitting there going, "Oh God, he's really fucking good at the piano. I got to steal with him." But that was. I mean, listen, that is a really hard one to do, like you did. You just sold the shit out of it. It was beautiful.
Well, I think the only way to approach a song like that is to just fucking go for it. You have to. You can't hold back. You know, it's like just do it.
You have a really, really amazing voice.
Oh man,
And,
thank you, Damien.
And it has a lot. And, you know, listen, the way people can have pretty voices, but you have a very honest voice. I believe what you're singing.
Right.
You know, I believe you believe it too. You know, there's a kind of an honesty there, which I fucking love. And it's really a relief to me that I don't have to pretend to like what you did.
That would have been hard work, right?
Yeah, you've done it again, darling.
You know the way to do it? A friend taught me this, which is you go, you. Hey, Chesney, the thing I have to say, this never happened before, but you know, Arthur, the little dog, is asleep he lies in his bed beside, and literally during your song, he stretched and he went, totally.
Did he go?
Dog. He literally, I've never seen him enjoy a song quite as much as he enjoyed that.
I mean, my dog Wally is the same. He's a real music dog. He doesn't care much about television or other things. But if you I have my little studio here, and by no means am I even in the same zip code as what you're doing, Chesney.
We might be in the same zip code, though. I don't know.
No, you're not.
Not creatively. But I've set up things in my back bedroom, to record, and whatever's happening, the dog just goes on the bed and lies upside down like an otter and goes into this blissed out kind of llama thing. Because any kind of music just puts him in this other state.
What, even industrial techno? Would that
Anything.
have the same?
I could be playing the fucking Spoons from Newfoundland and it'd be good. I cannot tell you how much that means to me, Chesney. I honestly just thank you.
Oh my God, you're so welcome. No, thanks for choosing that song. I mean, it's. I love McCartney, love him. He's if there was one artist that I would take on a desert island, it would be him.
Yep, 100%.
One of the things we said about what we love about doing this show, Damien, is we get to watch the guest's face when they listen to Chesney's performance. And man, you were there. You were in the zone, right? In fact, you were in the McCartney zone. You were doing the head. The head was so there. It was lovely. It was a beautiful thing to watch. It was really.
So when I close my eyes, you can still see me. I've learned something valuable.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, if you could take anything away from this podcast, Damien.
Yeah, we are a fountain of useless information. I'm looking at the clock. We need to wrap up. Lynn, there's a final little gem.
We do. Although, do you know what's on my mind, Neil, is I'm just this was a wasted opportunity for you, Chesney Hawkes, to do Hungry Like the Wolf.
Oh yeah, it was.
The background's like that. Oh, and I'm that could have been really awesome. So I have one last question for you, Damian Kindler, which is, knowing what you know now, what advice would you give to your 16-year-old self?
I love that question. Someone asked me that recently, and it's kind of an exercise you should do regularly. Yeah. I always more or less have the same thing, which is if I could just teleport into my 16-year-old bedroom and watch myself shit myself, go, what the fuck just happened? You just teleported.
That'd be cool. That would be cool.
What I would love to say is, it's something that doesn't, without meaning to sound treacly or too saccharine, is just relax. Just fear is about the future and guilt is about the past. You're an amazing guy. You're gonna get everything you dream and more. Don't ever stop dreaming. Just calm down don't worry, and stay inside the belief that you are exactly the person you need to be. Like, you're just very loved and you're good at loving people. And just, if you're worried about what happens to you, chill. It's going to be better than you could possibly imagine. I don't want to spoil it for you. But there's this blonde with glasses. My God.
And also, don't get the canoe, right?
There's a canoe in your future, darling.
Well, unfortunately, we've come to the end of this podcast. Can you believe that?
That could have gone on for another hour.
I know, but you can't exhaust our listener in that way. Poor listeners out there, faithfully listening along. Thanks, listener.
And Damian's given us a whole hour of his time, and he's been happy. I thought he was just pleased to see us, and there was a canoe in his pocket. But he's generally been happy and enjoyed the whole experience.
Half an hour to see that, Neil? Have you?
I have.
Have you waited to see that?
You remember that thing we said about the jokes?
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Lynn always says, if you've got a joke,
Just remember,
just count to 6.
I remember someone, inside every joke, though, honestly, there's a little grain of joke.
That will get through. Thank you. Thank you for that, Damian. What you're trying to say is that I was a grain funny, right? Just like
it's there. Water it. Feed it.
Water it. Nurture it.
Yeah. It may die 1,000 times, Neil.
Sorry about this, guys.
Can I quickly say, just
Yes.
thank you so much for this, and this is the most fun I've had in a long, long time, at least since yesterday.
Really?
And it's just been what a Hamish experience.
Well, thank you
You've
for
had
coming.
fun doing this? Wait, you've had fun?
I'll do it again
Doing
anytime.
this will you be? Well, we'll ask you back. You know we
Can we
will
do
ask
it
you back.
tomorrow?
No.
No, tomorrow.
We're doing another recording tomorrow with a woman who talks about money as an energy. She's really good.
Oh, that's interesting.
All right, so you'd like her. But thank you so much, Damian, for coming on. And I love, it's funny, and I knew it would happen, but that's because omnipresent, whatever. Is that you come on as my friend, and I've watched the boys going, we love him. He doesn't even need to dress up in a space suit to be adorable. In fact, if you look at both boys right now, Damian, look, they both got that look in their eye, which is, we'd really like to knit him a sweater.
I wouldn't
Really
know
Whatever
want
that
to knit him a
actually
vest.
means.
yeah.
But anyway, listener, we've come to the end of the podcast, but and I'm sorry to tell you, we will be back. So get ready for that. But until the next time, I've been Ferguson.
I've been Harrington.
I've been Hawks.
I've been Kindler.
Woohoo!
Thank you so much for being an amazing guest.
thank you guys.
What a guy, Kindler.
You've been listening to Ferguson, Harrington, Hawks with Lynn Ferguson, Neil Harrington and Chesney Hawks. Written and produced for Source Productions by, surprise, surprise, Lynn Ferguson, Neil Harrington and Chesney Hawks.